So we're waiting for a few traders and we'll begin our midday update. So we have about 4 minutes before we get started. I thought I'd start the stream a little bit early and give you guys a chance to log in. And of course, thank you for showing up. So of course, today markets had a lot of movement, so we have a little bit to talk about here. Should be exciting. Neutral Omni. All right, 1:56. Time is ticking. Thanks for posting that link, Dano. Starting tomorrow, we'll begin posting that on social networking.
Is that a stock? PLTR?
Uh-huh. It's a stock I've debuted in a video last year. PLTR. All right, viewers are starting to roll in for our 2 o'clock soiree. Meanwhile, I should get the Pepsi Cola company to sponsor me. You can if you want. I thought tomorrow we'd try to get an earlier start on posting, but sure you can if you want. Why not? All right. And of course, before we get started, we'll have to discuss that little animal right there. Mm, 2 minutes to go, kids, and we'll start playing with the charts. So we need some sort of music for this portion, you know, some sort of music that doesn't get me silenced on YouTube. Some kind of shareware music.
Most people
Where's
don't
my harmonica?
try to
Hold
sign
on,
up
dude. I
till-
got a bell, harmonica. Can't get in trouble for that, can I? All right. You know, watching the clock, waiting. I've only been waiting for 2 out of 4 minutes. Feels like the whole night's game last night has passed. Yeah, we should get Natalie to start doing our, stand here and do our intro music. Can't get in trouble for that, can you? 1 minute to go.
Crazy, right?
It's like being on morphine.
Out of time.
Tick,
Yep.
tick,
Unless you
tick.
have a good time.
Whatever that feels like, I don't know. It must be like that, though.
It's got crushed today.
It was a great game, though. That was great hockey last night. That was fun to watch. I'm going to the game on Friday. Woo! Hope they don't lose. Excuse me. All right. We're rounding on like 20 seconds now. Hey, here we go. It is 2 p.m. I'm unleashed. Welcome, traders. Thank you for tuning in. This is the 2 p.m. update on Thursday. Please remember, and if you didn't know about this and you took the Omni trades today, you know about risk. Please remember that trading is risky. You don't always win. You can lose more than you had planned on. If you're in futures or options in the wrong position, short against the market, many things can go wrong. So put your stops in first. Please know the risks behind trading. And let's see what's going on out there. So you're looking at the Nasdaq daily bar. And this is where we stood last night. So we're looking at a bull flag, and it bounced off the bottom of that bull flag on Tuesday. So then we decided to use it on Wednesday, and we got a great trade out of it on Wednesday. And then we decided, all right, it's working. Let's use it again on Thursday. And this is what happened. It did not hold. We completely broke through that flag. And now that we did, of course, the market looks bearish because the flag did not work. We are now below the 50-bar moving average. And the OMNI trade was stopped out today. We were wrong, but we did the right thing. And of course, we had to stop in, so we didn't get murdered or anything. But we did the right thing by buying the flag as often as we could. Now that it's broken, of course, we will handle things in a different manner. So that's what we did in the Nasdaq. It did not hold that flag. In last night's video, of course, I showed you the flag. And this bar didn't exist. And we talked about, hey, if it's going to work, let's continue working with it. It did not work on Thursday. Then you've got the Russell, which we also mentioned in last night's video. And we removed today's bar, and here's where we were in last night's video. And we said, you know, we are now above this major trend line. It's settled above the trend line. Let's go for it. But that didn't work today either. We were stopped there as well. Interesting thing did happen. The Russell came down to the bottom of this channel, broke it a little bit, came back up, and Russell's sitting right here right now. So even though it failed and took out the stops, Russell put in a decent showing so far today since it broke. Where it will close, of course, is a completely different story. Closing below this green line turns it back into a red line, becomes resistance, no longer support, back to resistance the way it's been. So we'll see what we're going to get on the close today, and then we'll know what to do this evening with the Russell. So the green Omni was absolutely incorrect, and we were stopped out trading Russell today. Let's just make that a small line. All right, and that is what happened with those two trades. We also were looking at this, not for trading, just because we looked at gold last night. Remember this chart? This really long killer trend line that gold stayed below for a while, but then finally broke out above. Here was the breakout. Small bull flag was formed. Flagpole, flag, breakout into an Oscarism known as the F flag. Well, sorry to say, this is what happened today on Thursday. You fell out of the channel, you fell out of the F flag, so to speak, and broke down severely. Now, why is a lot of this happening today? Well, right here is the culprit. You had an up move in the dollar, rare occasion, right? When the dollar moves up, everything else panics. Dollar had an up move, and my entire board turned red today. All the quotes that I follow, most of them were red. Crypto was green, and the YM was green, and everything else turned red because the dollar had a massive run up. Now we know, we talked about this in last night's video, they're talking about a $6 trillion additional package to throw in at the U.S. economy. If you continue printing dollars, whether you print them electronically or otherwise, it will dilute the price of the dollar. They haven't passed that $6 trillion yet, but what we do see here is all the other money that's been printed and put out into the economy. So yes, the dollar doesn't go straight down, but it's had a long ride to the downside. Because we keep printing money, like any stock, if you add shares to a stock, you have diluted the stock price. If you continue printing dollars, you are diluting the U.S. dollar, diluting. So that is why, long term, you've seen this sort of action. I hope they don't do the $6 trillion, but whatever. But short-term trading today, the dollar rallied, and everything else that we looked at went down. So these are basically the charts that I was looking at throughout the day today to figure out possibly what we'll do tonight. What would you guys like to look at? I'm sure there's plenty of charts that you would like to look at. I'm assuming AMC is the first chart everybody wants to look at today.
PLTR.
Which one?
PLTR.
Oh, PLTR did come up first, so let's go. I'm going to change programs. Thank you, QST. I am now going to go to Metastock, my mainstay. Because Ford is already here, we will look at Ford. I mentioned in last night's YouTube video that the Ford F-150 electronic pickup that goes 0 to 60 in countless seconds and is $10,000 cheaper than a gas-burning pickup truck. The Ford F-150 is the most popular car on the planet, truck I should say. It's not quite a truck, it's a pickup. And it is the most sold, most used. So if you're looking to pull a zillion pounds, you're not going EV. If you're someone who likes to drive a pickup because you got big dogs who sit in the back, you're going with a Ford F-150 EV, right? So I think Ford is going to revolutionize what this country thinks about electronic vehicles. Now, of course, we've got Tesla who opened up the doors for us and opened up our eyes. We had the Leaf before it and some other stuff, but Tesla opened up our eyes. Ford F-150 is probably going to revolutionize the way this country looks at these EVs. So there is a bull flag here in Ford. Some sort of weird pennant flag has formed, let's call it. Let me see if I can move these parts away from it and show it to you. I don't know if I could, I would, but it's not letting me. Select trend line, maybe that will help. Anyway, I wanted to move this out of the way and just show you these are bars that went straight up and then created this little pennant. So we do have a pennant bull flag. And Ford, if you ask me, looks good fundamentally and looks good technically. PLTR. Excuse me?
Jason Kaufman sent me $20.
For real? I didn't know that was even a possibility. Jason?
Yeah.
Jason, thank you so much. My children's college fund, let me give you the bank account to that. And you can send the wire if you don't mind for zillions. No, thank you so much. I've never seen anyone do that before. I've been doing this for 15 years and no one's ever done that before. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Your next question was that gold contract
Excuse me?
right? Is that gold contract right?
Is the gold contract right? We were looking at gold on which chart? That was back here. Where was gold? It probably was on this chart. Is this gold contract right? Sure. It's the June contract. This is what happened today. Then we were going to look at PLTR. Right?
Yes.
Who's that for?
PLTR. Miguel.
Miguel, PLTR. Let's see what we have. Did not show up. Let's find it in a different fashion. And no PLTR. I'm sorry. Will not come up. I don't know why. Usually if I go here, I can find anything.
Did you do it in that pack?
Let's try that. Just will not come up.
No.
Sorry about that.
Okay, then the next real last is oil not moving.
So is oil not moving? Let's switch back to QST. Oil, I believe we left here, right? Oil is sort of stuck here right now for one reason. See, we mentioned all of this in last night's video. That $70+ crude would wipe away that euphoric mood that we're getting from stimulus. Because, let's face it, if you stretched your imagination, you could fudge numbers and come up with a 4% EVs, electronic vehicles, across the whole planet. So, not right now, you know what I mean? The price of crude going up doesn't help anybody at all. 94% of us have trouble. So, crude today, why isn't it going up? Exactly for the same reason why. Let me see if I can just bring it up here. Oh, wait, we already have it. For this reason right here. One of these charts, I already have it saved instead of redrawing it. That would be it. Right here. This is why crude is not running up today, because crude's priced in US dollars. So what does that mean? If you were in the park and you were sitting on a teeter-totter and you were sitting on one side and a much heavier person than you was sitting on the other, when you went up, they go down. So if dollars are on this side of the scale, well, we'll call this crude for now. If crude is over here and dollars are sitting over here, this is what happens when dollars go up. And this is true on most commodities. That's why gold is down today. That's why a lot of your commodities are down today. Soybeans, soy meal, bean oil, you name it, all that stuff has gone down because the dollar made the teeter-totter go the other way. So dollar up, crude down is not always a guarantee, but it's a mentality that you need to follow.
Okay. Jano said on that PLTR to click on the symbol.
All right, we can try that.
One
That
last
was
try.
a different PLTR. We'll go here. Click on the symbol. It's either an instrument search, which then is going to take us forever, or open chart. So click symbol. Let's take PLTR out of there. Click symbol. Try that again.
Okay.
Open chart. And we're done with PLTR.
HMBL.
Where are these stocks? What kind of stocks are you guys calling out to me here? What was that again? HMBL?
Correct.
Oh, maybe there's a dot O. Let's see if it's dot O. Sometimes that's what you got to do to get it to come up. No?
Okay. Well, Sultan
Yeah.
wants the US 30 and the S&P 500.
I have to do that again. Why is it not showing up? What would you like to look at?
Sultan wants the US 30 and the S&P 500. That's
Gotcha.
bonds,
So if we
right?
look at S&P, we can probably find a good S&P chart here, maybe. Let's look. No, we should have
Oh,
one
it's a
drawn up
penny
somewhere.
stock. That's why you weren't able to.
Ah, yes, and I don't even bother listing them.
Gotcha.
So let's look maybe here. All right, we got an S&P chart here. So looking at the S&P, we talked about this, I believe, in last night's video as well, that this bar didn't exist, and that we had a top here, right? Previous high, which is right here. And we were looking for the possibility of a double top test today. But instead, market went down. We add today's bar back in. Market went down, not up. It's running away from the double top. So will we be able to say there was actually a double top and now it hit right here and right here? Well, we'll find out if the market falls apart tonight, right? Then that will have been considered the double top. I'll get my target out of the way and make it clearer for you. That would have been considered a double top, and down we go.
And next
Would have been nicer to have seen it hit that double top.
would be bonds.
And then you wanted to look at 30-year T-bonds. I think I might actually have a chart saved for them already as well. If not, we'll just pull them up somewhere. Here? No, so we'll just pull them up. Yeah, it's going to be the end of that. I think I just blew up my system, kids. Today is not going well for us on these charts.
Still trouble.
All right, let's go here. I have another system. What was that I was just looking at? The 30-year? So
Yes.
on this system, it is called the USM1. And these are our 30-year bonds. Let's go drop a template on there. All right, so 30-year bonds, and we'll label them for you. This machine labels over here. So 30-year T-bonds. If we could do a continuous, it goes on forever towards the downside. What we can see here, just looking at it quickly, is if we just put all of this together and see if it makes some kind of a channel, we are finally starting to work our way up a little bit with the bonds. As you can see, the channels are now pointing a little bit higher. Right, they're this way now, where most of the channels that we've seen in bonds have been more like this on the way down. So now that we're starting to see a little bit of upwards movement, and we are above the 50 bar moving average, you may find some buyers in bonds. Overall, I think what has to happen, though, to stave off inflation is they're going to have to raise rates. When you raise rates, the price of bonds go lower. That's just the way this works. Let me make these lines a little thicker. This way, when I draw lines, we can actually see what I'm doing. So, what happens when you raise rates is that bonds have to drop. That's just the way it works. There is no two ways about it. If the Fed raises rates, bonds go down. If the Fed lowers rates, the bonds will start to go up. So, right now, I'm sorry. Well, of course, bonds work opposite of whatever the Fed does. So if you created that teeter-totter, as we mentioned earlier, if this was your teeter-totter, when you are raising rates, if rates go up, the bonds themselves go down. So the teeter-totter starts to do this. And we'll just make that look like one for you so you'll get the visual. So this is what happens when we raise rates, and when we lower rates, bonds go up. So rates up, bonds down. And you know they're going to have to raise rates at some point, right? Wouldn't you think they're going to have to raise rates at some point? So I would think that we will continue to head down when they finally raise rates to stave off inflation. But for now, it's been in a really long tailspin to the downside. We're having what I like to call a flat or a little bit of an upward channel right here. We'll make those channel lines a little thicker. But I will tell you this, I don't trade bonds. They are completely controlled by a bigger entity than us. No one has as much money as the Fed. Nobody in our size level should be trading bonds. That being said, I think bonds have a little room on the upside looking at this picture.
How many times did you get your head handed to you?
Woo! I have some really bad bond stories.
Right, okay. PLTR.K on Metastock.
Thank you, whoever did that.
Nan.
.K. Could you just stop that from ringing? Thank you. And let's click symbol. That should be it. Well done. Thank you for that. And let's drop a template on there. You know, it's one of those stocks that doesn't move a lot. You know, the range is $2 per day. I don't usually analyze stocks that look like this. I really don't have much to say about it. I could analyze it, but I think stocks that move like this really don't hold true to technical analysis as well as stocks with a bit more volume. So I really don't want to put my neck out and say anything about this except for the obvious. So I'll just point out the obvious to you. Once you got below this average, which is one of the street's favorite averages, the 50 bar, it stayed there, right? This is what's obvious on the chart. And it just stayed. And I'll label the chart for us in a moment. But now we have something slightly different. That's different. So for now, while you're above the average, I think you can buy the dips. Using simplified analysis, just looking at what we see. So that's PLTR, and I guess we'll hold on to that for now.
Okay, the next, Paul is asking for sugar futures.
Sugar futures. All right, I can pull it up on here. This chart, this machine would be SBN1. And there we go, sugar futures. You know, one of my favorite charts to mess around with, it always has been. With sugar, the sugar chart, you can find everything. You can find every type of flag, bull flag, bear flag, head and shoulders. You can find everything on this chart. It's been one of my favorites. I'm actually used to be a sugar member in the sugar pit with the beds to trade it. So I used to go into sugar every morning. And I will tell you, there is everything you can think of on a sugar chart. So if we look at this and just abstract analysis, which is basically what these 2 p.m. sessions are, doing abstract analysis, let's just connect some highs and lows. So we would go from that high to this high, and it just extend out. And we hit the top of that. And then, is it a parallel channel? I don't know that it's parallel, but there's something going on the downside here. So, longer term analysis, yes, you've been going up for quite some time. Then we start to pull it in for shorter term analysis. And ever since we hit the top of this long term channel, you've been on your way back down. So, being that it looks to me, it doesn't quite get to the bottom of the channel, but if you're looking at the behavioral patterns, you go basically from the bottom to the top, or almost back to the bottom, right? And then all the way back to the top. Let's grab the trend line. Sugar goes all the way back to the top. And now it's starting to work its way slowly. And it doesn't go straight down, right? Like you see this portion here went and then started to head back up and then finished its move. Well, you're on your way down, started to head back up. Maybe, just maybe, sugar is on its way down here somewhere. Now, don't forget, you're getting a ball like this today because the dollar has rallied, right? So this could very well turn around as soon as the dollar goes back down and head straight back up and go through that upper trend line. But when you look at this sugar chart at what it normally does, once it hits that top, it starts to work its way back down. So that's what I see in sugar abstract analysis. For day trading, I would be selling rallies for the next day or two, just looking at the chart itself. Anything else?
Do you think about NFP Friday in your rules?
So here's what I've always said about, so non-farm payroll is what he's talking about. Here's what I've always said about reports. Reports give Omniacs great fills. I put the trades in, or we put the trades out there in front of the report, unless it's a WASDE crop report, or if it's the Fed, having a Fed meeting, those two, I don't trade in front of. Everything else, I think it's just part of the game. If your analysis is right, when the report comes out, you'll get a good fill.
Okay, SMH
SMH.
for Gary.
Let's just save sugar. SPN. We'll make it 2-1 because I already have the sugar saved under 1. And give me that symbol again, please.
SMH.
SMH. And there's a .L. So it's the Vectors ETF, correct? Is it trading at around $23, what you want to look at? That doesn't look like it's connected to oil. I looked at this yesterday or the day before. I recognized this chart. I know I've seen this chart before. Let me put a template on it.
What's next would be?
Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. I'm still looking here. So. And what was this stock symbol? Let me label this chart.
SMH. SMH Semi-Holders ETF.
The Semi-Holders ETF. Yep, that's it, Semiconductor. All right, so, you know, again, abstract analysis, not doing anything fancy, stuff that anybody could see. 3 tops in a row. Okay, so now we have a triple top, so to speak. Market came down from that triple top, is now heading back up. If you put a gun to my head, my experience tells me it'll be here before it gets here. In other words, it'll go through the triple top before it makes a new low.
No, 240.
What's that?
SMH.
So this is a different one. This is the Vector Semiconductor.
He said it should be at 240.
So this is not SMH. Okay. So let's see. Let's see what it says in the list. So there is the Semiconductor ETF. It's going to be this one.
Semi-ETF.
.O. 250, right?
Semi-ETF.
This is it. This is what he wants to say.
Yeah.
I know this chart as well. I've seen it before. Now that, if you ask me, is a pretty looking chart. So, again, we're going to do abstract analysis just quickly what I see. When you pull in as much data as you can, what you can see is that it had a really nice run up to, let's say, about here. I'm not drawing trend lines now, I'm just pointing out movement. So let's just grab a parallel and just snap it anywhere because it doesn't matter. You had a really nice run in between those blue lines. And here, I think all it's doing is catching its breath. So right here, I think it's catching its breath. This is what I call a flat. So SMH rallied up nicely, went into a flat. Usually the next move out of a flat that I'm aware of is higher. This is the way I would view this chart if I was managing it for a fund. Once you get above, of course, that top trend line, but that flat after the rally into the flat tells me you rally further.
Next chart would be
BB. Blackberry? Yeah. Amazing that they're still in business. What on earth? Who sneezed at Blackberry yesterday? What happened here? Look at this thing. What can I tell you? Yeah, here's what I'll tell you about Blackberry. That's all I got to say about that. What else you have?
Okay, Caesars Entertainment, ticker is CZR.
Caesars. Oh, love it. Beautiful looking chart. Look at that. Go Caesars. Hello, Vegas. You know why Caesars is up like this, right? Because most of you cats that trade also like to gamble. So thank you all for your donations. We love you here in Vegas. You keep it up, kids.
Dano asked for mRNA.
Hold on. We got to analyze one at a time here.
Gotcha.
All right, so let's take a look at this. Will you please let me create a parallel trend line? Thank you. And forget it. Where is that parallel going? Oh, it put it right on top of the other one. There we go. All right, so this, and give me that symbol again, Caesars.
CZR.
CZR. Caesars. See, how come that looks right? CEA. It's not spelled right.
It's CAE.
Yeah, it doesn't look right.
I think.
That's better.
Yeah.
Both look wrong to me now. I've looked at it too many times. If that's a typo, I don't care. So look at Caesar's chart. First of all, just every time it gets under this 50-bar moving average, the moment it gets above, the fund managers just plow right back in. See that? So the algorithm on Caesars is the 50, maybe the 60-bar moving average, somewhere right there. That's what they're using in their algorithms because look at this. Every time, I mean, that's not the only thing they're using, of course. Every time you get under that average, it is a clean getaway buy. So that's nice to see. Now we're in some sort of a channel moving towards the upside.
1 minute.
Thank you. And that's nice to see. And of course, we know fundamentally the world just opened up again, and there's nothing wrong with thinking you can continue to buy the dips in Caesars. I like the chart. And we've got time for one more. I've got a minute left. What's the final chart, kids?
Well, going down the list, mRNA.
That's from Dan. No, let's get somebody else. I
Okay.
can always do analysis for Dan, huh?
Kodak Eastman. KODK.
KODK. This will be our last one. Kodak. This one should do it. I think it's the K. Oof. How about we do that again? I remember the day this happened. I still remember this day when this happened. Yeah.
What color?
What do I say? What do you say about a chart like this? First of all, let's blow it up and see if it makes any sense. Once that big bar gets out of the way, the lines will make more sense. All right. Above the 200, above the 50. Not here. So Kodak, K-O-D-K, right?
Yes.
I wouldn't hate this chart, I'll tell you that right now. If someone asked me if I was forced to buy it, would I be uncomfortable? And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be all that uncomfortable buying this. So whatever this is right here, we were able to break out of it. Whatever was starting to build in between those lines. And of course you can make this much tighter. We can take this and pull it up to here and make this make a little more sense. Whatever Kodak was doing up to here, it has broken out of that. And when you get above something like the 200 bar moving average, which is here, when you get above the 200 bar moving average, I kid you not, bells start ringing. So this is what happens when you get above a 200 bar moving average, if there's volume involved and you can stay above for more than just a day or two. So I kid you not, what I can see from here is you've already gotten the attention of fund managers. And for now, buy the dips in Kodak. Your next challenge, of course, is going to be what happened here at this high, right? Anybody would know that, no secret there. You're going to challenge that at some point at 1050. And if you can get above that, who knows? Now, who would want to plow a bunch of money into a stock that barely moves? It's one of the reasons why they sit here for so long, and then when it gets attention, boy, does it go. When the volume comes in, it starts to go. So that's what I think about Kodak for now. Buy the dips until something bad happens or you get back below the 200 bar moving average.
Time's up.
Traders, thank you so much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Thank you for that donation. You have touched my heart. You have no idea. That was just a beautiful thing. I will see you all at livewithoscar.com. Make sure you join me there. And I'll be back to do this again at 2 o'clock tomorrow.